Yes, everyone, and welcome back to Punches and Pundits. Before we start, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube, and watch out for any clips on the TikTok Punches and Pundits account and the Instagram. Now, last night, well, not even last night, a couple hours ago, we had UFC 307 in Utah, headlined by Alex Pereira against Khalil Roundtree. Now, it beforehand, it feels like that was one of those events, kind of a filler event. You had the Sphere just before, and you got 308, which is massive, just after. It felt like it was a bit of a filler event. But if we start off at the main event, what a scrap. I'm not gonna lie, it was a banger.
Yeah,
We saying?
cracker. I mean, I've got send a big apology to Khalil. I said it would be a
Mm,
1 minute job. I said Pereira would finish him off quick, easy, one round, but it was far from it. Definitely one of Pereira's toughest fights in MMA. Forget UFC.
mm,
Khalil showed up and he was winning the fight. If Pereira hadn't stopped him, you could argue Khalil was maybe up 3-1, possibly, or 2-2. It was close, but he definitely took
mm,
the early rounds, in my opinion. The first two rounds were definitely Khalil's, and
yeah.
he done very very well. Pereira just has that experience, that pressure. Wasn't phased by Khalil's power, and as the fight went on, was just wearing him down, and those body shots towards the end kind of finished the job off for him. But it was a very good performance from Pereira, but Khalil can hold his head up high,
I
in my
think
opinion.
I think as well, like within the first couple of rounds, I was almost wincing every time Khalil was blitzing because it was like, damn, like, is Alex aware of like if he gets hit with one of these, like it's not gonna be funny. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then the
Yeah,
head
his
kick,
chin held up. His chin held up. To be
yeah,
fair,
his chin
Pereira.
did hold, it
He
held
has
up.
been susceptible to being hit in the past. But I mean, there's the argument he's at 205. He's not cutting as much weight. His chin held up because other fighters, those punches from Khalil, they would have
The
been
head
badly
kick,
hurt.
the head
Yeah.
kick, like, and ultimately, sometimes like the UFC know what we're doing, know what they're doing because they saw cool. Khalil was number 8, yeah, and if he would have won last night, that would have been the biggest jump ever from a contender to champion as someone who's in the rankings already. So, but they knew in their heart of hearts this is going to be an entertaining fight, and I mean, like you said, the first two rounds, Khalil was blitzing, picking his shots. It was almost like Alex was downloading data a little bit, establishing the jab. He didn't establish it fully in the first two rounds. I feel like the the end of the third round, you could see, ooh. And also Khalil's gas tank. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Mm,
He's starting to get a
mm.
bit tired and
I mean,
whatnot.
you can even see, I mean, we saw a completely different reaction from Pereira's corner as well. If you heard between rounds, Glover Teixeira was getting on him saying, listen, what defense are you showing? He was telling him, chip away at him, make sure
Yeah.
you're switched on defensively. His corner were kind of concerned because Khalil looked amazing in those early rounds. But like you said, it was Pereira downloading that data, taking his time. But Pereira at the same time, even though he was losing the first two rounds, he was still chipping away with that leg kick. He was
Yeah,
eating
he
away
didn't
at
really
Khalil's.
he's so stoic with it that it's not even
There's
like
no wind up, and Joe Rogan even mentioned he doesn't even move his shoulders, so you don't see it coming.
yeah.
And it looks like he doesn't have a lot of power,
The
but he's
leg kicks.
devastating.
But because Khalil was southpaw as well, it's not the
Yeah,
conventional. But
no.
even he had to pick his moments a bit more about the leg kicks. But once he started chipping them away, and then
He
Khalil's
wasn't he wasn't spamming left hooks as well, Pereira, which I
yeah,
liked. He wasn't.
yeah.
He was throwing more right hands. He was throwing a lot of jabs. He was throwing a lot of head kicks. That left hook we know is his best weapon, but he kind of kept it hidden towards the end.
I feel like that just shows like he had complete disregard for Jamal Hill and Yuri,
Mm,
whoever's coming back his way,
yeah, he
and it
respected
almost
Khalil.
feels like it almost feels like, well, maybe we have to have a conversation because maybe you put well, you put the Khalil that we saw last night against those two,
I even said Khalil versus Jamal Hill is the fight. They were already scheduled to
or
fight.
even
They
Yuri.
were, or even yeah, even Yuri. But I think I mean both fights. I mean Yuri's just coming off a heavy knockout loss. I'd say Yuri should take some time out, heal up a bit. But
Mm.
Jamal Hill looks ready to go. He was in the crowd. I
You
mean,
see him
even
yawning.
yesterday, he was yawning. I don't know. I mean, Pereira came out after the fight said he just
Probably just
woken up
woke
from
up.
UFC 300. But yeah, listen, that's the fight. Jamal Hill versus Khalil. They were already scheduled to fight. Khalil obviously had his issues, but those issues are done. He looked very good in his last fight. it's a good fight. And if Khalil wants to get back on the horse, get back in contention, beating Jamal Hill, a former champion, would do him well.
Yeah, his stock hasn't gone down
No, not
with
at all.
yesterday, and if you lose, especially a fight where he's like what 3-1 underdog, like these sort of odds, if you're gonna lose, you don't want to lose with your stock being like, yeah, he should never
No,
been in there.
no,
It's like
he tried. He tried. He tried. You know,
more than tried.
yeah,
He
he went
was
for it. He
he
went
won
for it.
a couple rounds,
It's
and
just
especially when
Pereira's pace, Pereira's pressure. Even though Pereira was losing, he was not letting him get center of the cage. He was still pressuring him. And
mm,
Khalil was kind of just towards the end, he was just throwing those kind of power punches just to keep him off. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. It
Pereira
was
was just
almost like he was swarming with the pace,
yeah.
like, and but at the same
Pereira was a
time,
zombie, Pereira.
he is a zombie. But at the same time, that's when it can get dangerous
Yeah.
because you're so like it feels like, let's say, and they were saying it on commentary where if Pereira gets hit, his immediate thought process is,
Just
I
to
need to
get
get
you back.
back.
Yeah, 100%. And you could see it. You could see it. You
So
know,
then it leaves him open a little bit. Do you know what I'm trying
yeah,
to say? Where Khalil could have like exploited
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
But I just think the level of striker that can punish him for that was probably Izzy.
yeah,
Izzy would
that's it.
punish him. But at
Mm.
light heavyweight, of course, listen, my boy Ankalaev's ready. You know, Ankalaev's also got a tough fight against Rakic. You know, you can't take him lightly. We've just seen Khalil, who was a massive underdog, perform. So anything can happen. Ankalaev needs to take Rakic seriously. But if he can get through, as I expect he will, then Ankalaev Pereira's the fight. There was talk of Pereira going up to heavyweight. We saw McGregor watching the fight,
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
heavyweight. I don't want to
Mm.
see him at heavyweight just yet. I want to see him fight Ankalaev first, and then maybe go
Mhm.
up to heavyweight. You know, he still has a
I
few contenders left.
I feel like well, I saw a couple people saying that they want to see Aspinall v Pereira at some point.
Not yet.
Um,
Aspinall needs to get the Jones fight first. You know, he's got things he needs to deal with, things
well,
he
he
needs to
won't.
sort out.
He won't, but he has to do. He's probably gonna have to defend against Volkov or Gane.
Yeah.
These two are retiring, so
Mm,
like, but I feel like if because if he beats Ankalaev, for example, then the 205 division is really there's nothing there. So then
exactly.
it warrants him
No,
really going.
he will eventually go up. But it's just that Ankalaev fight has to happen first. We have to see the Ankalaev fight.
Yeah,
And
no, we do.
it was a good scrap. And to be fair, the card wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. It was an underrated card. You know,
I think
a
so.
few good performances. For me, you could argue performance of the night was Buckley. Buckley against Wonderboy Thompson.
Okay, and they put that on the prelims as well.
And the prelims. Buckley, of course, he's climbing his way up. He was at middleweight before, wasn't as successful, but since he's made his move down to welterweight, I think he's
But you know
undefeated.
what? I got a little pet peeve
With his what? His
about
call
that.
out.
It's no. I liked his call out. I like the Usman call out. I think it was good. It's more regarding Wonder Boy, and it's why is there a sort of trend of being against the cage against serious power punchers, bro? We
That's
saw
Wonderboy
Volk,
style, though, isn't it?
and we're talking about the best movers in the
Mm,
game. We're talking about a Volkanovski against
mm,
Topuria, one of the best footwork in the game that we've seen when he
mm.
was in his pomp. We're talking about a Wonder Boy. He literally, for I don't know what it was, he was there, bro. Buckley jumped into his punch,
You know, it was vicious the way he leapt into
bro.
him. That would have
You
knocked
should
out
never
anyone.
been able to hit it to connect with
Yeah.
that.
A prime Wonder Boy is not getting touched.
Yeah.
But Wonder Boy is not the same guy he was. He's still a good fighter, but it's
No, he
just
was solid.
he doesn't have the same reflexes. He's not as quick. You know, he's a bit lackadaisical. And listen, you know, fair play to Buckley. I don't want to take away from his win, but
Mm.
it's not the Wonder Boy that fought Woodley, or it's not that Wonder Boy. Do you know what I mean? It's a Wonder Boy that's kind of getting on a bit. Last few fights, I reckon when he runs down this contract here, that's him done in the UFC. I'll be real.
What
How
is he,
old is he now?
41?
Yeah, he's pushing 40. Or he's more than 40, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's had a
But
great career, but you know
no,
it's time for the
100%.
next gen.
I feel like one or two more fights, probably a retirement fight. All of
Not even retirement, he might just continue fighting because he doesn't look bad. He's just not the same elite fighter he
yeah, but
was.
do you want to stay and fight these top 15 killers like when you
No, I mean
don't have
if he goes to PFL or I don't know Bellator or
I don't
One
see him go
Championship,
to I don't see him go to a different organization to be honest. But yeah, it's that
or
it's
he does that karate combat like Luke Rockhold,
right, right.
go into
But
that kind of field.
like I
Fight
said,
James Vick.
Like bro, James Vick, bro. You know he got put in a coma after that one.
Oh, I'm not serious.
Yeah, broski.
He's still in a coma right now,
No, he's not in a coma right now, but they had to put him in a juice coma, bro.
bro.
Like they need to stop him
No,
fighting.
no, I don't think if that's the case, then I don't think any commission will
No, no,
allow him
he
to
won't
fight.
fight again. He won't
No,
fight
they,
again.
they won't let him. They won't let him. The
But
commission won't let him.
that's what I'm saying. But
I
yeah,
didn't even know he
like
was in a coma. I'm making jokes about James
he's
Vick.
the poster boy getting knocked out, but
No, 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 no.
it's
I
not a
didn't know he was
joke.
in a coma. That's not even
And then
funny.
but yeah, like I said, if I'm a fighter, like my not if I'm fighting someone like a Buckley or Tuporia, well, I
Mm,
know the slightest connection, the surface area is closed, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to
mm,
say? Like if I'm in the middle of the octagon, boom, I can move, shift.
mm,
The cage is right here. Boom, you just get a massive one,
mm.
and you're asleep. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
No,
at all costs. You can't be against the fence for someone to flurry on you, bro.
no.
And it's like
But
we've
he's
seen two
Buckley's
fighters.
on a good run. He's confident as well. He believes
Yeah,
in his
yeah, yeah,
power. He's letting his hands go. But you're right. It wasn't a smart tactic from
yeah.
Wonderboy.
Do you think I don't think he'll get the Usman fight, but I didn't mind the call out.
Nah, it's a good call out though. He's calling up. I mean, he knows Shafkat is probably next for the belt. I would have liked to seen him call out Leon Edwards because Leon's available.
I
That
think
would have been a
Leon's
good
gonna
call
fight
out.
Gary though.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Gary's coming out signing these papers, not revealing who he's fighting. Usman's a better. I mean, Usman's a good call out because of his name. You're almost guaranteed a title shot if you beat Usman. He's had X amount of title defenses. Arguably the best welterweight of all time. He's a good name to have in your resume. But you're right, Usman. We don't know when he's coming back. We don't know if he's a middleweight or welterweight. He hasn't fought in how long. So yeah, I mean, it's a good call out. But yeah, I would have liked to see Leon Edwards. Maybe he's booked into fight Ian Gary. We don't know, but it's a good call out.
A fight down the line between Prates and Buckley would be something special though. I can't
Yeah,
lie. I would like
Prates and
Randy
MVP
Brown.
though.
No,
Oh,
Randy Brown.
Randy Brown's been confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good fight for Prates. A little bit of a step up, but you should
After
if
that,
he's
I
as good
think
as we think he is, he should beat Randy Brown.
yeah, and after that he'll probably be fighting someone ranked.
Yeah,
We wanted him to fight someone ranked immediately, but they feel like maybe he has to have one more fight.
yeah, yeah. Build him up. There's nothing wrong with that. Build him up.
And then
Randy Brown's been around for years. He's been
well,
in there with
he's
five.
fought the who's who. He's fought
He's
Jack
for
Della.
everybody.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Usman Jack Della Maddalena would make more sense.
yeah. Or
Do you know
even Madalena Gary or Madalena Leon or Leon Gary. One of
I
those
feel
three.
like I feel like Leon Gary makes more sense because it's like Ireland against
Mm,
UK, and they could build it up nicely. Do you know what I'm trying to
yeah.
say? So, but we'll see. What did you think of the co-main?
Yeah, I'd say it was a good fight. A good fight. I mean, I think it was a robbery.
Robbery, yeah.
A bit of a robbery. You know,
I think Pennington won, but
yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as saying it was a
Not
robbery.
robbery, but I just think Kenneth Pennington it's harsh on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is
Those
harsh.
knockdowns. But Penny, of course, had a little bit of resurgence coming
Her
back.
first knockdown, bro, and it was a
Yeah,
solid one as
yeah, it
well.
was proper. Pennington looks good, and Pennington's someone who I've been kind of critical of in the past. I remember her fight against Nunes back in the day where she kind of gave up on her stall, but she's a different fighter now. She's a completely different fighter. Believes in her power on the front foot. Pena, though, we know is durable, super durable, and she
But she
showed it. But
controlled her back though.
yeah, but
I'm trying to
I'd say
say,
Pennington did
give it
enough
back
to
to
get
her.
the win. Robbery is
I
harsh,
think
but
it was. I
Pennington did
think
enough.
Pennington probably won 3-2,
Mm.
but I mean
If there was a winner, you've got to give it Pennington. That's my kind of
the judge. I mean Dana came out and said the judging was immense in Utah, and
the
even the
judge, even the
refereeing, bro.
refereeing was
Bro,
dodgy. I mean,
the
the
separating at any occasion.
yeah, they're not. I mean, that referee was. I mean, that amount of eye pokes,
Oh
the
yeah,
amount of
yeah,
eye
the
pokes
Victoria. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was letting go that during that fight.
Not even
It's
one
insane.
warning. It was
No, it's
wild.
insane. Yeah,
But
it's crazy.
regarding the co-main, also I was like, realistically, yeah, Kayla's gonna be next, right?
Yeah, literally, I
Even
saw
though
someone tweet. They were
yeah,
like they're auditioning to lose to Kayla next, which is, to be fair, I don't disagree.
but the thing is, yeah, is that when you think about it, Kayla would have smoked Pennington just stylistically.
Mm,
Because if Pennington is getting her back taken by Juliana Pena,
Kayla, yeah.
I don't see how the Kayla ground and pound how she would have fared well with it. So now we get Pena. Even though Pena was asking for the Nunez is not coming out of retirement. I don't think to fight
Impossible.
Pena again. No, I don't see that. So it'll be Pena against Harrison, and I feel like stylistically that fight is a bit more interesting because Pena can throw up submissions and can be on her P's and Q's on the ground game. Um, I mean, Kayla Harrison, she looked decent. She saw her own blood for the first time. She ate
Mm,
a nice elbow.
yeah.
Uh,
Kayla's just listen. Kayla's just too big for that weight. I don't know how she makes 135. I'm pretty sure she used to fight 155 before
mm,
joining the UFC. So she skipped 2 weight classes, gone 2 weight classes down. She's got a crazy nutritionist. She's massive. So just because of that, even I mean, you said Pena would do well. Of course, stylistically, Pena will probably throw up a better fight grappling wise, but even Pena, I just think she gets manhandled as well. I just think Harrison's too big, too strong. She's got that judo background. I don't
yeah,
see anybody troubling her at
unless
155.
unless someone comes up with striking, like really good
Unless I don't,
striking
I mean,
competition.
unless Nunes comes back from retirement, I don't see anybody troubling her. That's why I was kind of annoyed she joined the UFC. I know her and Nunes are friends. I think they're teammates as well. But I would have liked to seen her versus Nunes, Prime versus Prime. That's the fight. But
Mm,
she kind of joined a bit too late. But I mean, it is what it is. She can still have a decent career. But yeah, it's I don't see any trouble for her getting the belt and holding on to it.
mm. And what about? I mean, there was a lot of chat about this fight as well, the Aldo Bautista one.
Yeah, just to be honest, I'm not really a fan of that style from Batista. I mean, listen, he's good fighter, but he's a staller. Do you know what I mean? He's not. He wasn't letting Aldo. I mean, he wasn't letting the fight happen. I mean, there was moments where he was landing punches, but he just pressuring him, holding him against the fence. He's not really trying to take him
Especially
down.
in the last round.
Yeah, he's not even trying to take him down. Even if you try to take Aldo down, good luck taking Jose Aldo down. I mean, probably the greatest hit on defense in
Mm.
UFC history, probably. But yeah, I mean, you could say Aldo won it, but yeah, it was just yeah, it was a
Stalling.
frustrating watch. It was a frustrating
Mm.
watch, and you're not really gonna win, Dana's
Yeah, yeah,
approval,
yeah.
and
Fans and
yeah, not even
yeah.
fans. I mean, look at Makayev, who got released. A big reason is probably because of his style. Now, if you fight like that against a legend in Aldo, Dana and his guys, those guys are ruthless, bro.
Well,
They'll
in
get
the
rid
in
of you. They'll
the
get
in
rid
the
of you.
press conference, they were like, you're not even trying to win the fight at this point. You're
No,
hugging so that the clock ticks and the other person doesn't do anything,
yeah, he
and
would
it
land.
looks like you just do a little bit more. So therefore,
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say? And it's like in the judging, do you count stuffed takedowns? Like, do you take in consideration how many times you actually stop a takedown? Because what was he takedown wise? His stats for the takedowns were awful, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So do you get penalized for how many times you go for a takedown and you're not able to actually get it? It's stuff like this, like regarding the judging and literally making the clock just the time just tick in a fight. It's not good. It's not a good look. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
Even though he got the win,
it's clear what he's doing, innit? Yeah, it's not.
and
You know,
also
we
in a
spoke about Khalil losing. We
yeah,
spoke
yeah,
about
go on.
Khalil losing and still having his stocks high.
Yeah.
But yeah, he won, but his stocks are kind of low. Do you know what I mean? It didn't do anything for him, and I doubt we'll see him fight anybody
But this
elite
is what I'm saying.
anytime
Even in
soon.
a Shark Tank division, as 135, he's what he was 11th, Aldo's 10th, so now he's going to be a top 10.
Mm,
He's now one of those names where he's like, whereas what was his last performance? His last performance, he looked really good. But it's like one of
mm.
them where it's like win at all cost, and I get it, I understand, but try and cause damage, try and do something, try and make it look like you're not trying to hug just for the W, because
Maybe
that stuff.
maybe he respected Aldo too much. Maybe it's Aldo's power that put him off. Maybe that's
Mm,
what it is. Maybe he fought
I
not
think he'll
scared, but
probably.
he fought a bit apprehensive.
I think he probably had. Well, he has to learn from that because I got the W, but no one's talking about it. No one's
No.
cool. I went up one rating, but let's say you have a war with Aldo or
Mm,
whatnot. You maybe he's 10, you're 11th. You would have lost. Cool, you would have been 12 or whatnot, but your stocks could have been way higher, and people want to see you fight. So it's like it's a win at all costs, but is it really? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
mm,
Like Khalil now, he's still gonna be 8 or 9. but he's probably still gonna fight someone above him. He's not gonna fight back.
I mean, look, I mean, Khalil before fight. I mean, Khalil, where's Khalil ranked before fighting
Eight,
Pereira?
eight,
He's
eighth.
8th, and he made a big jump to fighting the champion because he has an exciting style. He goes for the kill. He's a pressure fighter. Now you got Batista, similar ranking. I mean, not exactly the same, but not a high ranking.
Mm,
He's fighting a guy who's a bit higher than him, and he's not fighting in the same way. Now we will never see Batista make that big jump and fight someone maybe ranked number 1 or 2, simply because of his style. So just by having a good style, you can literally skip people ahead of you and get a title shot.
mm,
But yeah, he's holding
100%.
himself back. He's holding himself back.
And he's like, for example, he said on my way to the belt, I want to have my rematch against Corey Sanhagen and stuff.
Mm.
No one wants to see Corey Sanhagen about against Bautista
No, no, no.
off
I mean,
yesterday.
who does he even fight next? I mean, I don't think anybody. I don't even
I mean,
think.
there's definitely probably somewhere in there a name that's maybe coming off a loss and whatnot,
Yeah.
like
He's
near.
definitely
But
that's what I mean. We're talking about people coming off a loss. If he had put in an amazing performance, we would have been talking about people coming off a win. That in
mm,
itself shows you what kind of performance this was.
nah, you're right.
Yeah.
One fight I was a bit bummed out with was the Holland and Delitse.
Yeah,
See,
apparently it's a
McGregor
rib
came
injury.
out.
Yeah.
McGregor came out and he was like,
Should have just seen how you felt going into the next round.
yeah,
You know,
I
it's
don't.
a tough one. I mean, Holland's tough, but Holland at the end of the day, I've said this before. He's a bit of a gatekeeper. He doesn't really care to become champion. He's very clear. He wants to make money. He's an exciting fighter, and he'll fight anybody. He'll fight anybody anywhere, any weight. He jumps up and down in weight. So the fact that he knows he'll never be a champion, it makes that decision easier for him to not quit, but listen, I've got an injury. Why would I make the injury worse? Let me heal up and I'll come back. Like I said, I've not got any aspirations of becoming champion. So it was an easy decision for him. His coach was very clear in between rounds to listen, are you okay? And he didn't want to respond. He doesn't want to say no, I'm not okay, but not giving a response is just as it's the same as saying I'm not all right. You know what I mean? So yeah. Listen, I didn't really think too much of it. It would have been a good. I mean, it was with Holland. I'm not. I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not a fan, but I'm not really too fussed.
Run of the mill.
Yeah, I'm not really too fussed to be
But
honest.
he went like when he was on that run in 2020 where he won like 4 or 5 fights in a row, knockout, all of that. John trying to say
Yeah,
he was box office, but it's
yeah. I
one
mean,
of
it's
them ones.
exciting, but even then, I mean, I think it's a bit disrespectful to his coaches. Like, I mean, when he's talking to the opponents, we saw that fight where he was getting ragdolled. I can't remember who it was against. I should know who it was against. And Habib was in the crowd and he's just asking Habib for help. I'm like, bro, you've got a wrestling coach. Why are you asking someone in the crowd?
Mm,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah. I
just,
do remember,
yeah, yeah. So it's just
but
he's just a bit of a weird one with Holland. I'm not really too
mm,
fast to be honest.
yeah,
Holland's the guy you match up against when you've got an up and coming fighter who you think is top 15 material. Throw him up against Holland. If he can get past the Holland test, then he's legit. That's what Holland is.
mm. The next two UFC events, fight nights before 308. Uh, Royval v Tyra. It's not a bad flyweight fight. Tyra is actually really good, you know. I can't
Mm,
lie. He's
that's
solid,
good.
but
Royval
it's
wants no Royval obviously wants to get back in that in the mix. It's not a bad fight. It's not a bad fight.
16-7. His record. He's lost
Who?
7 times.
Royval.
Royval, yeah. Damn, I didn't know it was.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Hernandez, Michelle Pereira is the other main event. Michelle Pereira getting the main event. That's gonna be a wild one, bro. He's gonna be jumping off the cage and whatnot.
Yeah,
Um,
backflips. But yeah, he's to be honest, he's another one, all that backflip. I mean, it looks good for the casual fan, but doing a backflip when your opponent's on the ground isn't going to do anything for you. If anything,
bro,
you're kicking him. If anything, if your foot lands on his face, on his face while he's on the ground, ain't that an
yeah. Well,
illegal
I
shot?
think that's what he was aiming for, though. I can't lie.
That's ain't that an illegal shot though? You can't kick someone once they're down.
It's not technically kicking. You're landing on someone's face.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
I
one of
don't know,
those.
you know.
If his heel lands on the opponent and
Mm.
he clearly gets hurt, I'm sure they wouldn't allow that.
What? Well, let me ask you quickly. Talking about referees and stuff, How do you feel about people getting broken up like so quick? With what fight was it? Where they
Yeah, I
got
know what you're talking about.
separated all
Yeah,
like
it's the
all the.
The Ukrainian guy. Well, it happened last night. Well, of course, I'm against it. Especially guys who have that grappling style. You know, like I said, it's not easy to take people down, but there's a difference between someone who's stalling and someone who's actually going for the takedown, and someone who's doing work in the
or
clinch.
taking a breather before they attempt the takedown.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with it. I say let them have a good 20, 30 seconds to get their position, to land their elbows. And if they're not trying to engage or trying to advance position, then you split them. But if he's trying to advance or he's trying to chip away, and you could see he's throwing things out there, he's trying to take him down, he's trying to get a single, he's trying to take his back from or whatever, he's trying to work in the clinch, then let him work. You can't
Yeah,
separate it. I mean, there's one historical one which was a disgrace. You know, Damian Maya and Kamaru Usman, where they're working the clinch and Maya got his back, and then they separated it. And they were
yeah.
talking about how imagine, I mean, Maya's a guy where once he gets your back, it's a wrap. So imagine he's submitting Usman. That probably would have changed both of their careers. But
Didn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Didn't they in the Usman Edwards fight got
yeah,
separated and then
yeah,
boom? It's wild. It's
it's one of
wild.
them ones. Look, it's if two strikers are stalling in the clinch, then okay, you can separate. But if you know a guy's a grappler and he's got a striker in the clinch, don't separate it because that's his whole game plan.
Yeah, that is true.
So the referees
Because
need to have
you can't be trigger
intelligence.
happy. Yeah, you can't be.
They need to
Did
know
you see?
the fighters.
Did you see Mark Goddard said in my 20 years of reffing, I've never heard punches like Alex Pereira throws. The sound of it is
Crazy.
wild.
It's crazy, and he doesn't even wind up. That's the thing. He doesn't. You don't see him bite down and swing wild. He just. It's just a quick movement. It's just a quick.
Imagine if he was to swing for the bleachers.
Yeah, that's not his
He
style.
might
But
kill a man.
if you
No, but
was,
he might kill a
yeah,
man.
exactly. Look how much power he generates just by little movement, a quick movement. He's
Bro,
got
it's so
crazy
wild.
timing.
Like, do you remember the Cody Garbrandt where he's against the cage and then he throws from the hip and
Yeah,
lands,
that
yeah?
was against
Hudson
the
Sao.
Brazilian guy. Yeah, Assas. Yeah,
If he
crazy
threw,
knockout.
if Alex Pereira was to throw a punch like that,
Mm.
I honestly feel like the other person might
He just
like
goes southpaw, throws out overhand left. It's a wrap. He might do it one day. Imagine he does that, but I've never seen
again.
him go southpaw. He likes to he likes
It's
to
just
fight
so
orthodox
like,
and for that check hook.
yeah.
He loves his hook.
Um, what else? Quick roundup. Well, he said this was the hardest camp for him because he was on antibiotics. He had passport troubles, fevers, and a sore throat and a rib
Pereira,
injury. Yeah,
Pereira. Why
yeah,
would he have passport troubles? Does he not live in Connecticut?
bro.
Maybe
I
I don't
don't
know.
know,
Visa.
but this is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously he reacted to Jamal Hill yawning. He said maybe he just woke up. He said he wants to fight at heavyweight one day. If the UFC wants to please me, I think maybe a fight at heavyweight one day would be something that would really please me.
It will definitely happen.
Yeah,
But the Ankalaev fight has to happen. Hopefully Ankalaev is successful against Rakic. Because Ankalaev will be watching that fight
but
and he'll see openings.
The Rakic that we saw in the first round against Yuri,
Yeah.
if
No,
he
no,
can sustain
that's
that,
why
if
I
he
said.
can sustain that,
Yeah.
it could be problematic. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, he's not a walk in the park, Rakic. But if Ankalaev is who I think he is, he has to get through Rakic because every other top fighter has got through the Rakic test. If you can
Mm.
get through Rakic, we have to see that Pereira fight because I saw openings
No,
for
we have to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have to. We
because you
have
look
to.
at Ankalaev's record, yeah, he's pretty much had a flawless UFC record apart from that Paul Craig submission loss, which he was winning. He was winning that fight, but Paul
Yeah,
Craig is a demon off his back. Paul
with
Craig's
the
a guy where
triangle. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
he's a problem, but he was winning that fight. Had he not submitted him, that's a decision win for Ankalaev. So Ankalaev's UFC career is very underrated, in my opinion. He's got a very
yeah.
good record at light heavyweight, a very good fighter, and like I said, Pereira can be hit, but it's about
Yeah.
sustaining it. It's about sustaining it,
But Ankalaev was gonna wrestle him.
and yeah, but and it's about not letting Pereira back you up. That's the mistake Khalil was
Yeah,
making. Even though
yeah.
Khalil was landing punches, he hurt Pereira. He wasn't capitalizing. Pereira was still pressuring him. You have to kind of you have to hold center cage sometimes, and Khalil didn't do that.
Just
That's
firm
what
it.
lost him the fight.
Yeah. And Ankalaev said, "Congratulations, both guys. It was a great fight. I'm glad Voodoo guy won, and I have to
Mm,
do my job, beat Rakic, and after that, kill the spill."
mm.
He's talking his ish. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
He's
So,
a serious guy as well, Ankalaev. Like he's some
nah, he
guys
is.
they talk just for talking, but Ankalaev's
Yeah.
he's from that part of the world. Like he's not messing around.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that was the UFC 307 review. Over the next couple of weeks, we will be back in the studio, which we're both looking forward to, because we're doing it remotely for quite a bit now. But we are heading back to the studio over the next couple episodes, so watch out for that. And the clips from this episode will be posted on the TikTok and Instagram. So make sure to watch out for that. Other than that, peace out. See you lot soon.